guys, Hayward Horse, the Sky God Pharaoh. Today we're going to be reacting to how long would Carter Peterschmidt's prison sentence be.
If you thought it was just the Griffins who had a criminal history in Family Guy, wait until you meet the father-in-law from hell. Yes, I'm talking about none other than Carter Peterschmidt.
Hi, Mr. Peterschmidt.
Hello, Peter.
What's up?
Good? Oh, damn it.
With pockets deeper than the Grand Canyon and morals thinner than tissue paper, Carter doesn't just break the rules, he obliterates them with style. So buckle up, because we're about to rank Carter's crimes from light misdemeanors to how is this guy not behind bars already. Let's kick things off with one of Carter's all-time favorite pastimes, making Peter's life an absolute nightmare. And if that means wrecking public property along the way, well, that's just a bonus. Like the time a local dealer announced a competition called Hands on a Hard Body, where the prize was a shiny new dirt bike, and naturally, Peter's all in for it.
Because this is 1978, Lois, and dirt bikes have never been hotter.
I don't know. Seems stupid to me.
Come on, Lois, let the man have some fun for once. Now all the contestants gather at the spot, and surprise, surprise, some familiar Quahog faces show up, even Herbert. You know what he's doing there. But the biggest surprise of all is that Carter Peterschmidt shows up to compete.
Mr. Peterschmidt, what are you doing here? You want to use dirt bike?
You wanted it, so I decided to win it for myself just so I could destroy it in front of you.
Well, I should have guessed that. Right as the contest begins, Carter's attempt to mess with Peter backfires hilariously.
How are you going to destroy a dirt bike? You can't even open your own aspirin.
With that. Damn it!
For someone as business savvy as Carter, this is a pretty dumb way to get eliminated. But does he stop there? No, of course not. He's already rented an excavator, and it's time to use it. His target?
Well, I already paid for that thing, so I'm just gonna stick around and smash other stuff you like. Hey, fat ass, you like this bus bench?
It's okay.
All right, that's good enough for me. I'm smashing it.
And that's all he needs to destroy that poor bench. Carter slowly but not so gracefully drives toward the bench, completely nailing his first attempt. And by nailed, I mean missing it, but with enough persistence, Carter manages to demolish the bench in a spectacular way. Meanwhile, Peter, unfazed by Carter's action, stays focused on winning the bike. Now it's just him and the mayor left. Using his usual trickster charm, Peter distracts the mayor.
I just sent you a picture of a kitten in sunglasses.
Well, this I gotta see. Hello?
As expected, it works. Who can say no to that? And with that, Peter wins the dirt bike.
And we have a winner!
Back to Carter. Like the show, we're not just gonna gloss over this little stunt of his. In real life, damaging public property like that can get him slapped with a fine of up to $100. But let's be honest, for Carter, that's just pocket change. He'd probably toss a couple of bills, tell him to keep the change, keep on wrecking things for fun. On the surface, Carter Peterschmidt might seem like a loyal, loving husband, but peel back the layers and you don't have to peel for long, you'll discover quickly that this man has a deep affection for affairs. Let's start with one of Carter's earliest infidelities. In the episode Peterschmidt Manor, Carter is on his way to attend the funeral of Lois's favorite nanny, Meredith. Lois insists on going, so Carter hesitantly agrees to bring her along. At the funeral, Lois crosses paths with Jacqueline, the nanny's sister. However, their encounter takes a sharp turn when Jacqueline tells Lois why her sister was fired all those years ago.
Affair?
We try not to talk about it. Some rich guy in Rhode Island. Then his wife found out and forced him to fire her.
When Lois asks Carter about this, he admits to it. Seeing Lois so sad, he tries to fix his mistake by building a childhood park for her, hoping it'll magically erase the whole adultery fiasco from her memory, and you know what? It works. For now.
Thank you, Daddy.
Oh no, Raphael, the old gardener died. I have a story I have to tell you. You'll be getting another pond.
I guess. But let's not pretend he just stopped at one affair. How can we forget Carter's whirlwind affair with Trisha Takanawa?
God, you're gorgeous.
This is on the record.
You ever been with a man who's got a prostate the size of a beefsteak?
That was enough for Trisha to fall for him? Or Trisha's standards took a serious nosedive? Later in the episode, we find out that he didn't just cheat. He also left his wife for Trisha and sent poor Babs to a sanitarium.
I'll tell you, I don't know why they call it a sanitarium. That place is a filthy hellhole. Sorry, what'd you say? I was texting Trisha.
Carter's coldness here is practically Olympic level. Of course, Karma doesn't waste any time. Turns out it was all part of Trisha's undercover investigation to expose Carter's manufacturing improprieties. And Carter, hopelessly smitten, spills the beans without a second thought.
I love it when a man confesses to manufacturing improprieties.
I ordered the brewery to start making beer cans out of toxic, unsafe metal just to save a few bucks.
Thank you, Carter. And there you have it.
Poor Carter. He was really into her, too. Finally, we have the affair Peter accidentally stumbled upon.
Ah, that was excellent. When I clenched it, you took your fingers away.
Mr. Pewterschmidt, you're having an affair? Ew!
It's awkward enough to see your father-in-law in a situation like this, but then Carter tries to cover it up, and somehow that makes it even weirder.
This is my sister.
Ew!
She looked at me while I did it to myself.
Ew!
I mean, she's a man.
Carter's love life is full of affairs, lies, and cover-ups. So what does the law have to say about it? Well, it sees him as a criminal. Rhode Island still considers adultery a misdemeanor with a $500 fine per incident. With 3 affairs, Carter owes $1,500. For someone like him, though, again, just pocket change. Barely more than what he'd spend on a bottle of wine. We all know how much of a business freak Carter is, and how he's always ready to put profits above everything else, including his own family. In the episode Let's Go to the Hop, Carter's love for Lois hits rock bottom when he outright refuses to pay a ransom to save her. Yeah, you heard that right.
But Daddy, if you don't do what they say, they'll kill me.
You know we don't negotiate with kidnappers. Family policy.
Please, please.
Now we see how he manages to stay rich for all these years. If you're worried about Lois, don't be. Somehow she manages to get herself out of the mess. No thanks to Daddy Dearest, though. But this moment solidifies Carter as a Hall of Fame level terrible parent. There are multiple crimes he committed here. By refusing to pay the ransom and making no effort to save Lois from the kidnapper, Carter knowingly and recklessly endangered her life. Under Rhode Island law, this constitutes reckless endangerment, a serious felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison and a $5,000 fine. Shockingly, not paying a ransom to a criminal can be a crime. His complete neglect, though, as a parent is what's on display here. That could tack him on an additional 3 years and another $1,000 fine, so in total, that's 8 years and $6K. Carter Pewterschmidt is a man who thinks family values mean punching Peter in the face for fun. Seriously, if there's an Olympic event for assaulting Peter Griffin, Carter would take home the gold, silver, and bronze.
Hello, Griffin.
In their first meeting, Carter doesn't waste any time. He's already swinging fists. And if I'm being more specific, swinging statues.
Peter, what do you think of this bronze statue?
It's nice.
No, seriously.
That's great.
And that, my friends, is how Carter found his arch nemesis. But Carter doesn't just stop there. He gets creative when assaulting Peter. One time, he even punched Peter through a computer.
Hey, I got an email from Mr. Pewterschmidt.
But it gets even worse, because Carter doesn't just stop at beating Peter. He takes it a step further. He goes so far as to beat his wife. Heck, their first meeting starts with an assault.
Ah, you dumb...
My friend and I held our breath.
Yeah, Babs, you were the fortunate one here. Oh, and don't forget the trash can incident when the family came to visit. Carter's repeated actions fall under battery and assault, and Rhode Island law takes that very seriously, with a penalty of 1 year in prison and a $1,000 fine per incident. And considering Carter does this 5 times, in just these clips alone, mind you, he's looking at a total of 5 years in prison and $5,000 in fines. Not exactly a family-friendly track record, now is it? Carter Pewterschmidt has done some pretty wild things, but breaking into Santa Claus's house, that's a new low even for him. In the episode Christmas Guy, the Griffins head to the Quahog Mall for Stewie's first ever Christmas carnival. But when they get there, it's just a regular everyday mall with no carnival and Christmas cheer at all. Christmas decorations, non-existent festive music, silent Santa, nowhere to be found.
Hey, nice outfit. Fancy pair of shoes, too.
What the hell? Where's all the decorations? And the big Christmas tree?
Confused, they turn to the mall security guy for answers.
Excuse me, sir.
It's officer.
Where is the Christmas carnival?
Canceled. I don't know why.
Who could have done such a terrible thing? For now, though, all they can do is just head home. Fast forward to the next day, and Vinny's on the case. Through his investigation, he uncovers the truth behind the whole mess.
I've been asking around about this carnival thing. Turns out I know a guy who knows a guy who knows another guy who says the carnival was canceled by the mall's owner. Some guy named Carter Pewterschmidt. What a guy working on finding out who that is.
It's my father.
Yeah, Vinny, we're shocked too. So to get the Christmas carnival back, Peter heads to Carter's office to confront him. However, Carter reveals a personal reason for canceling it.
You know what it's like being rich at Christmas, Griffin? Everyone expects an expensive present, and I get nothing.
Yet another selfish Carter move. But Peter is determined to help him and decides to try and rekindle Carter's Christmas spirit. What Peter doesn't realize, though, is just how deep Carter's hatred for the holidays runs.
Hey, happy June 16th. Well, let's see how you like it when someone breaks into your house and knock it off.
Selfish Carter move. But Peter is determined to help him and decides to try and rekindle Carter's Christmas spirit. What Peter doesn't realize, though, is just how deep Carter's hatred for the holidays runs.
Hey, happy June 16th. Well, let's see how you like it when someone breaks into your house and knock it off. I'm touching this, and this over here. You're a creep, is my point.
Well, that's your opinion, buddy, but you can't. Holidays runs.
Hey, happy June 16th. Well, let's see how you like it when someone breaks into your house and knock it off. I'm touching this, and this over here. You're a creep, is my point.
Well, that's your opinion, buddy, but you can't just break into someone's house to make a point, especially not Santa's. And seriously, how do you even find it in the first place? Under Rhode Island law, Carter's actions definitely fall under breaking and entering, which could land him up to 10 years in prison. And adding his art with his coal-coated hands leaving prints all over Santa's house, he's also looking at vandalism charges. That's up to $1,000 in fines and another year in jail. Altogether, Carter's looking at 11 years behind bars and a $1,000 fine. That's the least you get for ruining Christmas. One thing I've learned while watching Carter is that the dude is obsessed with guns. No matter if he's happy, sad, bored, he's always ready to fire away. Take that one time Meg was driving with him, for example. Now, you'd think that they were just jamming out to some tunes or catching up on life, but no, not in Family Guy. They were... playing Russian roulette. And if you're wondering what that is, we'll just take a look at this.
Oh, that's a stop sign.
Anyone with half a brain can see he's lying about the stop sign to get out of playing. And if you thought that was just a one-time thing, guess again. In the episode Peter Erotica, Carter loses all of his fortune and even his wife over a lawsuit. Thanks to Peter's, shall we say, creative erotica, so Carter decides to pay Peter a little visit. What does he bring Peter, you ask? Just a love. Gift?
Hey, Mr. Pewterschmidt.
Hello, Peter.
What's up?
Good? Oh, damn it. It's a gun.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to kill you.
Daddy, what are you doing?
Now, let's talk about the crime here. Pointing a gun at someone isn't just a tough guy move. Under Rhode Island law, it's classified as assault with a firearm. And folks, that's a serious felony assault. For Carter, he could be looking at up to 20 years in prison and a $10,000 fine for each incident. So with these two clips, multiply that by 2, 40 years in prison and $20,000 in fines. That's a lot of time to reflect on those terrible decisions. We all know know Carter's a total jerk, especially at this point. But one time, he lets Chris do something that'll leave you disgusting. In the episode Fresh Air, Carter breaks his leg in a mall due to his childish stupidity.
Carter, please stop doing that. We need to get you some new corduroys.
No!
You're going to get hurt doing that.
No, I'm not. Ow! You jinxed me!
Now they need someone to take care of Carter because everyone's busy with something. So they send Chris to spend some quality time with Grandpa. When he gets there, Carter starts whining about how boring everything is and how he can't even have anymore. Then Chris comes up with a way to make his grandpa happy.
Let me show you something.
Amazing!
Jacked him
And
off?
Linda Carter wasn't actually here?
We all know what happened during that transition, but guess what? It's
jacked
even
him off.
worse than you think.
You can do it basically whenever you're not doing something else.
Hey, next time I want to try it with my hand.
How could Carter let Chris do that? Dude's a minor! But Carter doesn't even care. This act could fall under solicitation of a minor for sexual acts, which could land Carter of up to 20 years behind
But
bars.
wasn't Chris
Carter
the one that
Peterschmidt
initiated it?
isn't exactly the type to help others without expecting something in return. In Padre de Familia, he takes manipulation to a whole new level. When Peter's life hits rock bottom, Carter's help comes with a hefty price that no one saw coming. It all starts with Peter's world flipping upside down when he discovers that he's actually an illegal
I
immigrant.
just
As
watched
far
this
as
last
the U.S.
night.
government is concerned, you're an illegal Mexican immigrant.
And just when you think things couldn't get any worse, he loses his job. Talk about hitting rock bottom, right? Well, this is where Lois steps in and convinces her dad, Carter, to offer Peter a job. Which seems nice at first, but guys, it's Carter. You know something shady's coming.
Peter, I'm using you as a house immigrant, so take my family's luggage to their rooms and then go get settled down at the servants' quarters.
Instead of offering a real job, Carter puts Peter to work as a servant on his estate, lumping him in with a group of other undocumented workers.
We're sharing a tool shed with 7 other families.
But Carter doesn't stop there, he goes full nightmare boss mode. One of the most disturbing moments is when Carter forces Peter to do something humiliating just for his own amusement.
Drink that.
What is it?
My blood. I'm a diabetic and I need you to test it. You work for me, now drink it.
No!
Drink my diabetic blood, Peter, or you're fired. Oh, I can't believe you really did that.
This ain't just dehumanizing, it's straight up abusive. Under Rhode Island law, forcing someone to perform degrading acts like this could fall under coercion, which carries up to 10 years in prison and fines of up to $10,000. Guys, we're only halfway through this, and Carter's already racked up 74 years in jail with $43,600 in fines. That's enough jail time to outlast a few generations of the Peterschmidts. And if you think things couldn't possibly get any worse than this, then buckle up, because the next crimes on Carter's list involve assault, selling illegal stuff, and downright abuse of power. Things we've already kind of talked about, but on whole new levels of absurdity. When it comes to making money, Carter Peterschmidt is that guy. And by that guy, I mean the kind of person who will resort to anything, even crime, to make a quick buck. Like that one time in the episode of Peter Erotica, again. After losing everything he had in a lawsuit created by Peter's Erotica,
I'm such a huge fan of Peter Erotica.
A Hot Chick Who Was Italian by Peter Griffin.
as I said before, he finds himself at rock bottom, right? So desperate to reclaim his lost glory, he, along with Peter, decided to start over with a new venture, and one of their ideas was selling pot. And who's their first customer? None other than his own granddaughter. Now, you'd think that a former billionaire would know how to run a business without resorting to shady schemes, right?
All right, now we play it cool. Hey, Meg, we're trying to make some money. Would you like to buy some pot from your granddaddy and me?
Sure.
Oh, fantastic.
Apparently not. Once Meg buys the pot, Carter's businessman brain kicks in, and he does this.
What the hell was that for?
Now we have the pot and the money.
If Carter really wanted the pot back, there were so many better ways to do it. I mean, come on, it's a Meg. Offer her a fake boyfriend or something. Promise her some attention. Maybe love. Hey, I'll help make your family like you more or something. It's a lie, but it's a start. She'd probably hand it over with a smile, but nope, Carter being Carter decides to smack her unconscious. This isn't just bad salesmanship, it's straight up assault and battery. Under Rhode Island law, intentionally causing physical harm to someone can land you up to 1 year in prison and fines of up to $1,000. But wait, there's more! Selling marijuana, which is still illegal in Quahog at the time, adds drug distribution charges to the mix, and that's up to 10 years in prison and fines of up to $3,000. One thing about Carter is that there
10 years for selling marijuana? Word?
are no boundaries for the man. If he wants to prove something, he'll go to any extreme to do it. And that's exactly what happened in the episode Stewie Kills Lois. It all starts with Brian giving Lois a thoughtful gift: 2 tickets for a luxury cruise.
Oh my God! 2 tickets for a cruise?
Hey, what is this? We agreed on a $20 limit.
Pretty sweet, right? Well, not for Stewie, who's absolutely livid that Lois plans to leave him behind while she enjoys a vacation with Peter.
Stewie, Peter and Lois aren't taking you with them. They've already boarded.
Not with
without me. I'm the baby.
To Stewie, this is the ultimate betrayal. Fast forward to the cruise, and Peter and Lois aren't exactly living the romantic dream here. During a dinner convo, Peter casually brings up a story.
You want to get an abortion with the abortionist having a stump hand? We can't get an abortion here. 2.5 months later, our daughter Meg was born.
Yeah, not the right story, buddy. Of course, they end up having a fight over this, and Lois decides to leave the room to get some fresh air. Honestly, I still can't figure out what she sees in him. While Lois might have been reflecting on her decision to marry Peter, Stewie appears.
How did you get here?
Oh, there's a very simple answer to that.
And without wasting any time, he executes his plan.
I've been forced to suffer day in and day out under your matriarchal tyranny.
What are you doing with the gun?
He really went all in on maximizing his revenge. If this were a movie, this would be the part where the villain laughs maniacally. Instead, we get this.
Ow! Mommy!
I just saw this last night.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
After that, it's been a whole year since her disappearance. To the world, it looks like a tragic vanishing with no clues or explanations. But one person is still suspicious, and it is not a person, it's a dog, Brian. He's convinced Stewie's behind Lois's vanishing act and vows to expose him.
You son of a... You killed Lois. Good luck proving that. I am going to expose you for what you are, no matter what it takes.
And seriously, how the heck can Stewie turn his head like this? It's freaky. While everyone still believes Lois is missing, life goes on, especially for Peter. Hanging out at the Drunken Clam with his friends, Peter lets slip a crucial detail.
I didn't know that you had life insurance on Lois.
Actually, I got it on the cruise. Right after we had that big fight when I said I wish you were dead.
Talk about a giant red flag. With that, Quagmire, Cleveland, and Joe all start to suspect Peter of foul play. Meanwhile, Brian is closing in on Stewie. Knowing he's in trouble, the baby scrambles to hide the murder weapon, but before he could do that, Peter's friends find the evidence in the trash.
There's no doubt anymore. Peter murdered his wife.
You gotta admit, Stewie's probably feeling pretty relieved right about now. Now, things take a serious turn when Joe, a law-abiding officer with a serious sense of justice, drags Peter into the interrogation room. Next stop, the courtroom. By now... You might be wondering, what does this have to do with Carter's crimes? Oh, it's coming. Let me cook for a second. Because now he takes the stand.
Peter called me right after he killed my daughter to tell me he killed my daughter.
Really?
And then he even reenacts the alleged crime. His reenactment, by the way, is just a simulation where Carter plays Peter and an Asian hooker plays Lois.
Lois, I'm fat and I'm stupid and I fart at times that ruin my father-in-law's social occasions.
You pay me now?
And yes, Carter shoots the hooker, but somehow no one seems to notice this little detail. But in real life, the law is not going to let Carter off the hook for that. Under state law, second-degree murder carries a sentence of 20 years minimum. Yeah, you heard that right. Carter could be spending his golden years behind bars. Let's just take a moment to appreciate Carter's approach to problem solving. And I gotta give the man one thing. He's pre-murder carries a sentence of 20 years minimum. Yeah, you heard that right. Carter could be spending his golden years behind bars. Let's just take a moment to appreciate Carter's approach to problem solving. And I gotta give the man one thing. He's creative. It's less talk it out and more eliminate the witnesses. Seriously, this man treats attempted murder like it's just another Tuesday. Starting with when Peter fails to impress Carter during their first meeting. Carter decides the best way to deal with his problem is by knocking him out with a statue, as previously stated, and dumping him somewhere far away.
Right.
But we're just getting started here. There's that time Carter tried to off someone and did it in the most Carter way possible. He gets a visit from a lawyer with some bad news, a lawsuit that could take everything away from him. So naturally, he turns to his ultimate weapon. If the lawyer hadn't shown off his acrobatic skills, he'd probably be a goner.
Huh. Didn't realize Greenberg was a Jedi name.
Not every day you get to see a lawyer win a case and take down a monster. Great job, buddy. But wait, there's more. Let's revisit that time Peter almost met his end at the hands of his beloved father-in-law. In the episode Scammed Yankees, Peter dares to stand up to Carter's plan to demolish an African village.
No, Carter, I can't let you do this. I won't stand by and let you further ruin this terrible place.
Here's $5,000. Lock up that
And of course, he tries to do the right thing, but Carter won't let morality get in the way of business.
Give these people back their health clinic and their school.
No!
Hi, Lois. Bye, Lois.
That's your son-in-law and my husband.
I know how families work, Lois.
Just in the nick of time, Lois arrives to save Peter from becoming a tragic headline. Let's be clear though, attempted murder is no joke. It's a felony that can land you up to 20 years in prison per attempt. And this dude didn't just dabble in it once, he's a 3-time offender. That's a potential 60 years behind bars. Everyone in Quahog knows how heartless Carter is, and when he's not busy being a business tycoon, he loves pulling pranks, but this time he takes it to a whole new level. So the Griffin family discovers just how underfunded Chris's school really is. Like, they're so broke that they're handing out textbooks from 1948.
Book is from 1948.
What? Let me see that.
What the hell, are these schools so underfunded that they can't afford textbooks from this century?
Raise hell about this at the next PTA meeting.
Yes, Lois, be the responsible mom and fight for your children's rights! Little did she know that bringing this issue up at school would have some serious consequences for Chris. Lois demands the principal to raise the school's test scores immediately so the school can get its funding back, and the principal's got the perfect plan for it.
I suppose there is one thing I can do to raise the school's test average.
We'll drop the dumbest student we have. Chris Griffin is hereby expelled.
Now that Chris is expelled, as responsible parents, Peter and Lois try to find different schools for him, but none of them are a good fit. So she turns to her father for help, and shockingly, he agrees, but of course, there's always a condition that involves Peter. Yeah, I already know where this is going.
He has to shoot and star in a shot-for-shot remake of Liar Liar for my amusement.
Dude hates Peter with a passion, and sometimes I can't blame him. So for his son's brighter future, Peter accepts the humiliating request.
To my seatbelt, I didn't look in my rearview mirror, I didn't signal when I pulled away from the curb, I almost hit a Chevy, I changed lanes while running a red light and speeding!
And with that, Chris is now enrolled in Morningwood Academy. But things don't go as smoothly as expected. When the kids find out Chris is poor, he gets bullied relentlessly, leading to him telling everything to Lois.
Everybody's mean to me because I'm not rich.
Oh no, Chris, that's horrible. I'll call Daddy and I'll see if there's anything he can do.
And of course, again, Carter's here to save the day. This time by making Chris a member of the Skull and Bone Society, which comes with some pretty sweet benefits.
Where am I?
Welcome to the Skull and Bones Society.
But then we get to see the true colors of the society. One of them is what they do every first Thursday of the month.
The first Thursday of every month, we go to a local orphanage, pick out a kid, fill out all the paperwork, and then don't take him home.
Well, what can you expect from a group that calls themselves Skull and Bone?
Your family's waiting in here. There are toys and a puppy. Come on, you gotta want it. Okay, I guess you don't want a new family, toys, and a puppy.
Oh, that's just downright cruel.
evil.
Who does that to kids, man? Now, under the Rhode Island law, Carter might not have realized it, but he crossed a line into fraudulent misrepresentation for that prank. That could land him up to a maximum of 1 year behind bars and a $1,000 fine per case. If we assume he's been pulling this prank for the last 10 years, that's 120 years and $120,000. Carter thought he could get away with pranking orphans, but now he's the one getting played by the law. His relationship with the environment is incredibly toxic. Like, seriously, this guy treats the planet like it's his personal dumping ground. In the episode T. Peter, we see Carter pulling off one of his most audacious and devious schemes yet. It starts with Peter opening a business, and just when things seem like they're going too smoothly, Joe appears.
All right, Joe, what's going on?
Peter, you're running an unlicensed business, and that's against the law. You can't fight City Hall.
Oh, we'll see about that.
Well, Peter, that's the law for you. Peter's furious about the government and decides to join the newly formed Tea Party. On the rally day, we see a man motivate people against the current government.
Is anyone else out there sick of government crap? The government wants to tell you what foods to eat, what church you can go to, that you can't own a chimpanzee because you're not responsible enough.
I I would feed it.
And it turns out to be Carter. So why is Carter getting involved in these politics? Well, it's simple really, so he can rake in even more profits without pesky regulations slowing him down. But this isn't just about evading taxes or keeping his wealth, it's about environmental destruction. Once the government's out of the picture, Carter wastes zero time making the environment his own personal trash can.
Where's all that smoke coming from?
The Pewterschmidt Industries refinery. It's a giant cloud of pollution.
The Pewterschmidt empire booms, but the planet, crashes. And as if that wasn't bad enough, Carter really outdoes himself in the episode Adaptation. His company, Exxon Pewterschmidt, spills millions of gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico.
The Exxon Pewterschmidt has crashed and released millions of gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico, causing irreparable damage to the ecosystem.
And don't think for a second that that was an accident. This happened because Carter cut corners and ignored safety measures, and guess what? We've got witnesses to back it all up.
2 anonymous whistleblowers blame negligence.
They cut corners left and right.
Covered little crab.
He had to leave.
And what does Carter do to fix it? Take responsibility? Instead, he spends time with an orphan girl, hoping this will distract everyone from the environmental catastrophe. It might just seem like another wild plot in the show, but in real life, Carter's actions wouldn't distract anyone from the chaos he caused. First, there's fraudulent misrepresentation when manipulating the Tea Party people for personal gain. That carries a penalty of up to 1 year in prison and a $1,000 fine. And by releasing hazardous waste into the environment, Carter really crosses the line, earning his company fines of up to $250,000 for violations, and Carter, well, he could be looking at up to 15 years of imprisonment. Violating the Oil Pollution Act, OPA, is another big one, with fines reaching of up to $4,300 per barrel. And assuming the ship carried just 1 million gallons, Carter's penalty would be a jaw-dropping $97,621,000. The real crime isn't just how much he's wrecked the environment, it's the fact that Carter likely considers this all just part of business. Alright folks, brace yourself, because Carter's rap sheet's about to go full-on corporate supervillain in the episode regarding Carter. The man himself accidentally gets a one-way ticket to Amnesia Land after he gives Lois a gun as a birthday present.
I'm so sorry,
It's
dear.
okay.
And here, I brought you a gift.
A gun?
Yeah, you love guns.
Why is it that in Family Guy father-daughter relationships are either non-existent or this? Peter, you're not off the hook either. Speaking of Peter, you know we can't resist messing things up here. The moment he gets his hands on that gun, he gets obsessed. He's even treating it like a remote control.
We now return to the Orville on Fox.
Lois, understandably, isn't thrilled about Peter's newfound obsession, so she takes the gun back to Carter, intending to return it and be done with the whole mess. But this is Family Guy, nothing ever goes as planned. In true chaotic fashion, the gun accidentally goes off during their argument.
I bought it at Anthropology.
Oh.
You're keeping it. It's a gift.
Damn it, Daddy, why won't you just take the gun? I'm so sorry. It can't be too serious.
Carter does not end up dying, he ends up in a coma, and you think it'd be something profound like family love or beautiful memories that bring him back, right? Nope, it's the Real Housewives.
No! The show itself is bad enough. We don't need another show explaining what we just saw.
Carter wakes up, but his memory is rebooted. He's not evil yet. For now, he's just like a toddler with a blank slate. Is this redemption time? Maybe. So Lois brings him to his office, a corporate kingdom of lies and destruction, and this is where things start to get interesting.
I thought you should see where you work.
I work here? Wow. This place is huge. What do we do? Are we nice?
You shouldn't have asked that question, Carter. Now get ready for all the good things that you've done.
You put pesticides in baby food. Your chemical waste gave a town cancer. You burned down the entire Amazon rainforest. You're the #1 producer of whale meat. You dumped lead in drinking water. Your fertilizer plant exploded, killing 4,000. You bought Vine and shut it down.
I did what?
She goes on to provide a laundry list of the worst corporate crimes you could possibly imagine. This guy's not just bad, he's evil incarnate. And his crimes are illegal nightmares, so let's break them down one by one. First, lacing baby food with pesticides, criminal negligence, and endangerment under Rhode Island law, 20 years in prison, $100,000 fine. Next, there's the chemical waste that poisoned an entire town, which falls under environmental pollution easily, for another 30 years and $1 million in penalties. Then there's the burning down of the Amazon rainforest. Welcome to Arson Land and International Environmental Destruction Land, which could get him 40 years. Dude's the #1 producer of whale meat, which definitely qualifies as animal cruelty, leading up to 2 years and a $10,000 fine per case. Dude's #1 in the market. Let's say he killed 500 of them for that. Racks up 1,000 years behind jail bars and $5 million in fines. Dumping lead in drinking water adds the charges of public endangerment, tackling on another 20 years, blowing up a fertilizer plant, killing around 4,000, slapping him with 25 years per case. Total would be 100,000 years in jail. now. And buying and shutting down Vine can be charged with violating antitrust law, which can be fined of up to $100 million. So for this segment alone, Carter's looking at about 101,110 years behind bars and $106,100,000 in fines. Dude's not just an evil corporate, he's basically the Thanos of the business world, snapping profits into his pocket while obliterating the rest of the planet. Alrighty guys, let's unpack the most selfish act in Family Guy history. Carter Pewterschmidt hiding the cure for cancer. It all starts in The Old Man and the Big C, where Carter gets a terminal cancer diagnosis. He's told he's got only 2 weeks left to live.
Pewterschmidt, but the cancer is terminal. If you're lucky, you've got 2 weeks to live.
Pretty tragic, right? Well, hold on to that. Brian overhears the news and goes full-on Scooby-Doo mode, racing to tell Stewie.
And the worst part is, I don't think Lois even knows he's sick.
Oh, this is going to destroy her.
So Brian spills the tea on Lois, and her reaction? Well, that's what Stewie's more interested in than anything else.
Mother is dying.
What?
Ha!
Heard a doctor tell him he has cancer.
The whole Griffin crew rushes to Carter's side to say their goodbyes, only to find him alive and well.
I'm so glad you're all right, Ryan. How could you get us all worked up like that?
You are gonna get it when I drink.
Brian loses his credibility faster than Peter loses at rock, paper, scissors, but Brian ain't buying it. Not one to give up. He thinks the actual Carter is dead and the new and well-being one is an imposter. So Brian teams up with Stewie and they break into Carter's lab.
We're just gonna have to try and figure out the code. Stewie, are you crazy?
What's going on down there?
Nothing.
All right.
And that's certainly one way to break into a room. Now, instead of finding Carter's body, they find Specimen Z, the holy grail of medicine.
What is it? Specimen Z is a cure for cancer. He cured himself.
That's right, folks. Carter cured himself, but instead of sharing it, he's been hoarding it since 1999. Why? Why not hear it from the man himself?
Why cure someone of cancer in a day if we can treat them for a lifetime and bill them every step along the way?
How big my nips are. They're almost like a woman's.
But Stewie, being the genius we all aspire to be, swipes the cure on their way out.
Don't be too upset. Old Stewie here snagged a little souvenir on his way out.
How'd you manage to steal it?
Oh, it was easy. I just took it while you guys were yammering on.
Go, Stewie! But just as Brian's about to blow the whistle, Peter interrupts with the world's worst somersault.
And there's something incredible I have to show you. I learned how to do a somersault. Did I do it?
The clumsy tumble gives Carter enough time to swoop in and snatch it back. Now, Lois also knows what Carter's been hiding and tries to confront him, hitting him with every guilt trip in the book.
What if somebody close to you got cancer?
You mean Mamie?
Yeah, what if Mamie got cancer?
Mamie's not getting cancer.
If I got cancer, or God forbid, one of your grandchildren, for once in your life, do the right thing.
Does he care? Well, he promises to release the cure, but instead drops Slow Stick, an edible deodorant for the developmentally disabled.
That son of a went back on his word.
Daddy, we're all sitting here in front of the TV awaiting the big announcement. The one you promised to make for me, your daughter.
I lied.
Now Carter just lies to her face without even flinching. Millions of lives lost, billions of dollars made, and Carter walks away without a shred of remorse. Legally, by hoarding the cure and letting millions die. This could be chalked up to criminal negligence, reckless endangerment, and manslaughter in a good and just world. And I'm going off script here because we initially estimated about 1 million people here dying because of his greed, but I just looked up on Google the average amount of people who die from cancer, like yearly. In 2022, it was around 10 million people. So we're gonna go with that number, multiply that by 30 years per victim, and Carter Pewterschmidt will be looking at 300 million years in the Stony Lonesome. When you add it all up throughout this entire video, Carter is looking at a mind-blowing 300,101,411 years behind bars, with a fine stacking up to $209,139,600. Guess the only thing more twisted than his schemes is his prison sentence. Want to see which other characters are racking up sentences just like Carter? Click the video on screen to see how they stack up in the crime department.
Hope that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.